In this video I'm going to show you how you can simply make a floating shelf just like this. Welcome to JBTV. Hey, what's up guys, it's your man JB here and back once again with the ill behaviour, this time making a floating shelf. Oh yes, so as you've seen, this shelf is going up in the office just above my computer screen, so I can put some bits and pieces on there. It is a rather small floating shelf, so I'm not going to go too heavy duty, but I will explain how I'm doing it and how you could use this same design if you are going to make a slightly bigger shelf. So for this shelf I'm going to be using this 2x1 softwood. Now this ends up being 44mm by 20mm, so I'm going to be using some of this, and I have got some 12mm MDF which I will be using to make the actual shelf. So check it out, I have come up with a bit of a design, I've done a drawing. It's not really to scale, but it is quite accurate in the sense that I've planned it out, I know exactly how I'm going to make it, and I've also done myself a cutting list. Always good to do a cutting list, and I've gone over this a couple of times just to make sure it's right. So really, let's get on with it. Mask, goggles, earplugs. Right then, I've done all the cutting, I've got my cup of tea, let's put this together. Now there are two parts to this floating shelf. We've got one bit which is going to go against the wall, then obviously we've got the shelf itself. Now for the bracket that's going on the wall is literally a piece of softwood. I'm going to have one end here, I'm going to have one in the middle, and I'm going to have another end here. So that will basically be screwed on the wall. And then I'll be making a box that goes round it once this is on the wall, and it will just slide straight into it. So what we'll do is basically just put a couple of screws in here and here to hold each of these legs. To ensure I don't split the timber, I'm putting countersinks in the holes. These legs are going to be glued and also screwed with these 4x50 screws. So that's the frame done, and that's the bit that's going to go on the wall like so. What I will do before I put this up is just give these edges a little bit of a sand because they're all quite sharp, and I also need to put some countersunk holes in here. But I'll do that when I'm ready to put it up. I'm going to put this to one side so this glue can start drying. So we've basically got one bottom piece and one top piece. We've got two sides and a front. So what I'm going to be doing is putting the side pieces here. I'm going to put a bit of softwood on there just to give it a little bit more strength and give the MDF something to stick to. So we'll have one of those on each end like so, and then this front here will go like so, and then that will sit on top like that. So I have done a couple of these measurements very slightly oversized so I can give it a nice sand and fill in the holes before I paint it. But basically that's what you're looking at for the box. Now to make the shelf section I'm going to be using my brad nailer, but if you haven't got one of these you can just screw it, but it just means you'll have to fill a bigger hole before you paint it. And there we go, there's our box, nice and simple. Those saw measurements definitely worked out. Now I need to leave this, let the glue dry before I can sand it and do anything else with it. So what I'll do next is put the bracket up where I want the shelf. So before I put this up then, I'll just put the countersunk holes in, and I'm going to put two in here and two in here. I am going to put them slightly above centre just to help prevent it from dropping forward any. If it was in the bottom it's more likely to pull away, whereas if it's closer to the top it's less likely. So we'll go just above centre here. I'm going to be fixing this to the wall with size 5 screws, so I'm going to put a 5mm drill bit in here for the holes. There you go, sorted. Size 5 holes, countersunk. This is where my shelf is going to be going, right here above my computer screen. So what I want to do is just mark it first, then I'll move this out of the way when I drill the wall. So I'm just going to put a spirit level probably around here. Now although I'll mark a line and I'll put the frame to that, you have got the thickness of the shelf which goes underneath the frame, so as long as there's plenty of gap there that'll be absolutely fine. So I'm just going to get that level, and then we'll just draw a line along there. Perfect. and then we can just get that centralised and get that screwed on. So what we'll do, we'll get this in position, and I'll just mark the holes on the wall. Okay, then we'll drill them out. Now I know this is a dot and dab plasterboard or dry lined wall, so I'm just going to be using these plasterboard plugs. So whether I go into a lump of adhesive or whether I'm just in the plasterboard, they're going to be perfect. So we'll get the right drill. Perfect, that's not going anywhere. Feels really strong. Little bit of wood filler in the holes and just in a couple of areas on the joins. Right then, I sanded the filler on the shelf, and as you can see I've just given it a coat of primer. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a go, see what it's like. Oh yes, look at that, that's a really tight fit, but that is really solid. You can just hear that as I hit it, so that's absolutely fantastic. I'm ready to put the stuff on there. Well, actually I'm going to give it a top coat of satin wood, but I shall do that a little bit later. Now, if you want to paint this, if you want to see how to paint this, then do check out my video on painting MDF, and you'll find that at the end of this video. That's definitely tight, isn't it? But that's just right. That couldn't be any better, I don't think. There we go. Take it on and off a couple of times, and it's a little bit easier. There we go. Sorted. Well, that's it from me then. I do hope you enjoyed this video and like my floating shelf design. And if so, give us a thumbs up, that'll be absolutely fantastic. And want to go ahead and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber to my channel. Awesome guys, see you on the next video.